Be ready. 5 seconds. Start. Honorable Speaker Sir, I rise to address this august House on a matter of grave national concern, overpopulation. It is a reality that stares us in the face every single day. With over 1.4 billion people, India is now the most populous country in the world. While population can be a strength when it translates into a skilled and productive workforce, unchecked growth becomes a liability, straining every aspect of national development, our resources, infrastructure, environment, and economy. The challenges posed by overpopulation are numerous and interconnected. From crowded cities and slums to overwhelmed healthcare systems, from declining per capita availability of water and food to the increasing gap between rich and poor, we are witnessing the impact of this population surge in real time. Our cities are bursting at the seams. Trains are overcrowded, hospitals are understaffed, and our public distribution systems are constantly under pressure. Rural areas too are witnessing resource depletion, unemployment, and migration to urban centers. The balance between man and nature is being severely disrupted. The root causes of overpopulation are diverse. Lack of education, especially among women, plays a significant role. In many parts of the country, early marriage and lack of awareness about family planning continue to persist. There are still many social and cultural taboos attached to use of contraceptives. Additionally, poverty itself becomes both a cause and a consequence of overpopulation. In families where survival is difficult, having more children is often seen as a form of economic security. However, this only perpetuates the cycle of deprivation. Honorable members, we must recognize that overpopulation is not just a statistical issue, it is a developmental emergency. Every additional life requires food, water, shelter, education, and healthcare. Our national resources are finite. Groundwater tables are falling, forests are shrinking, and pollution levels are rising. If we do not act decisively, the demographic dividend that we are so proud of today may soon become a demographic disaster. Let me draw the attention of the House to the impact of overpopulation on employment. As the youth population rises, job creation is not keeping pace. We are seeing increasing levels of unemployment and underemployment. Frustrated and directionless youth are vulnerable to falling into the traps of crime, addiction, or even extremism. This is a ticking time bomb. Education is another critical sector that bears the brunt. With limited infrastructure and an ever-increasing student population, ensuring quality education becomes a major challenge. Honorable Speaker Sir, we need to treat this issue with the urgency it deserves. Merely increasing the number of schools, hospitals, and housing projects will not solve the core problem unless we address the rate at which our population is growing. We need a holistic and humane approach to population control. This must begin with education and awareness. Girls' education, in particular, is a powerful tool in population stabilization. When women are educated, they make informed decisions regarding their health, marriage, and childbirth. We must also ensure universal access to reproductive health services, contraceptives, and family planning counseling. I urge the government to intensify campaigns at the grassroots level, especially in rural and underserved areas. Anganwadi workers, Asha workers, and local panchayats can be roped into spread awareness about family planning and reproductive rights. Incentivizing small families, both economically and through social recognition, can make a huge difference. Schemes like conditional cash transfers for families that adopt two-child norms, priority in housing schemes, or educational benefits can be game changers if implemented effectively and fairly. I must also stress that we need strong political will beyond rhetoric. This issue must be seen above politics. It is not about religion or region, it is about our collective future. We have to avoid communalizing or politicizing population data. The solution lies not in coercion but in consent based, rights respecting strategies. The infamous example of forced sterilizations during the emergency era must remind us of what not to do. International experiences show that population stabilization is possible. Countries like Bangladesh, Iran, and Thailand have made significant progress through awareness and empowerment. We must learn from such success stories and tailor them to Indian realities. Technology can also help. Digital platforms, mobile applications, and telemedicine services can be used to reach young couples and educate them about reproductive choices. Honorable members, overpopulation also has a direct impact on environmental degradation. More people mean more waste, more vehicles, more demand for power, and more exploitation of resources. Climate change, air pollution, water scarcity, all are worsened by the growing population. If we want to meet our climate goals and ensure sustainable development, population control must be part of the agenda. Let me conclude by saying that we cannot ignore this crisis any longer. Overpopulation is not someone else's problem, it is every Indian's problem. It affects every citizen, whether they live in a metro city or a small village.